Emotionally speaking, 2020 lasted both 14.5 minutes and about 365,000 years. Obviously, I don't need to be the person to tell you that for a lot of different reasons, it was, how do I put this? Like a complete dumpster fire of a year for a wide range of different reasons. Cannot stress that enough. But some good things did happen in 2020 as well. And like I've done in the past, I'm going to go through and talk about some of the good things that did happen because we often miss good news. We will always notice that something goes wrong, but you'll rarely notice that things consistently go right all the time. That's just human nature. It's also just logical. I wake up every day, I get in my car, it turns on, I don't crash. I don't notice any of that. But I went to get in my car like 2 weeks ago and the battery was dead. It just didn't turn on. Obviously, I'm going to pay attention to that. That's logical. So I think it's quite important to take time to just really pay attention to and notice the good things that are happening. Otherwise, the world can just seem like a really negative and shitty place in general. So that's what we're going to do today. But if you do want to passive aggressively tell people to fuck off, another bit of good news is that our fuck off socks are restocked. You can find them at my clothing brand Rift. That'll be linked below. First things first, I fucking love space. I love space. I, like many people, am fascinated by just space in general, space exploration, the physics behind just all of it. So some great news for me, and maybe you as well, is that Spacex actually launched 2 astronauts into space for the first time. Spacex essentially represents like the future of space travel for humanity at the moment. They've got massive plans, the most promising funding, so the fact that they've been able to put 2 astronauts on the ISS is very impressive. In December, there was also a 102-year-old woman who not only survived the Spanish flu, but also beat cancer and also survived COVID-19. Ran a fever for a few weeks and she was good to go, so I don't know what is in this woman's body, what kind of superhero shit she's running on, but good on her. There was an Illinois mother, and I don't know if it's Illinois, or Illinois. I'm going with Illinois. Fuck. Illinois pronunciation. Right? It's Illinois.
Illinois.
Okay,
Also,
yeah, okay,
Illinois.
It's Illinois. So a mother from Illinois opened up a bakery called Special Needs, we love it, to make sure her son, who has cerebral palsy, would have a job after high school, which is very forward thinking, also just very heartwarming. It's fairly obvious, but not only did we get struck with the pandemic, but we've also already made vaccines for it, which is an impressive testament to human ability in and of itself. But the fact that thousands and thousands of volunteers signed up to essentially be guinea pigs to be tested on for the benefit of just humanity as a whole, really, which is also either a testament to maybe society leading people to be that desperate for money that they would do that, or if you're being optimistic, it's a really lovely show of human altruism. We're just gonna leave it at that. Trump. we got rid of that bastard. Oh God, I'm so keen to never hear that asshole's name ever again. The collective groan that I heard in every room where his name was brought up, either on the news or on the radio, or just someone mentioning something stupid that he's done. And it's not even our president, it's still somehow our problem. Can't wait to not have to deal with that anymore. And with that comes the first female vice president, and not just that, the first black vice president and also Asian vice president in America. A little baby panda was born at the National Zoo. That's nice. And along with the first female vice president, female leaders across the world just as a whole really stepped up this year, where a lot of their counterparts just did not. Jacinda Ardern, I don't think I need to say anymore, but I will. She led a nationwide effort to, I think, eradicate the virus in New Zealand. I'm not 100% sure on that. And New Zealand is now the world's most COVID resilient country. Taiwan also has a female leader, and that country acted very quickly in response to the virus. Angela Merkel in Germany, same story. And Sanna Marin in Finland, all female leaders, all very early responses. Female-led countries didn't flounder and pussyfoot around as much as their male counterparts across the world. Generally took the advice of medical professionals, scientists, epidemiologists, you know, people who know what they're talking about. And before some grown adult gets the shits in the comments, I'm not mentioning this to say that all male leaders are incompetent by any stretch. There's obviously a bunch of male-led countries that are also doing well, but female leadership is often questioned. People are inherently suspicious of women leading anything, and it is far more difficult for women to even get in the position where they can lead a country in the first place. So when they have achieved that and also achieved the feat of leading a country out of a pandemic, bloody good on them, and I'm gonna say it. So before you get mad, this statement is not a women versus men thing. It's a everyone has always insisted that women cannot lead, women cannot be good at this job, and yet here they are being the best at this job in the face of a worldwide crisis. Thing. Next up, carbon emissions fell by the largest amount ever recorded. Obviously, this is because everything slowed down quite a bit. Humans stopped moving around, stopped consuming so much, and that's probably going to rebound in 2021. But there are signs that countries around the world are using this pause and are putting it to good use. China, Japan, and South Korea all committed themselves this year to net zero emissions by the mid-century. Joe Biden promised a $2 trillion climate plan. The EU and the UK have also tried to lock in their targets for reducing their emissions by 2030. Apple's going net zero by 2030. Walmart smart by 2040, and there's just in general a lot more corporate interest in the topic. The end of fossil fuels seems to be just around the corner. BP has come out and said they expect the demand for oil to drop by 50% in the next 2 decades. The success and popularity of electric cars is increasing. 2 million people in India planted 250 million trees in one weekend this year, and that's just part of a bigger project to reforest the subcontinent. I think everyone collectively realized that you don't need to be working in an office to be productive because everyone worked from home just fine, which is great news from a lot of different angles. Trump's accidental press conference in the Four Seasons Total Landscaping parking lot. I couldn't not put this one in because even though it's not technically good news, it is fucking hilarious. You can have a room full of comedians writing jokes for about 300 years and they would never have come up with something this good. Trump's team accidentally booking the parking lot of a landscaping business instead of the Four Seasons Hotel for their press conference. Fuck, if nothing else good happened this year, that did. Italian mayors really took the cake this year, mouthing off to their citizens.
Siete degli irresponsabili, dei cretini, degli emeriti.
Dovrebbe preparare la festa di laurea. Mandiamo i carabinieri, ma li mandiamo con i lanciafiamme.
Che vanno in casa a aggiustare i capelli e le febbre. A che cazzo servono? Chi cazzo da vedere per sti capelli aggiustati in dopo?
Threatening your citizens with flamethrowers. You really can't write this shit. This guy skateboarding while listening to Fleetwood Mac I think maybe saved 2020. I'm not sure. Maybe things turned around when this was uploaded. This is the exact energy I want everyone to bring into 2021. The first full-size 3D printed human heart made out of biomaterials was made this year. Previously we've only been able to make like really small versions of a human heart because printing anything to size would just collapse. But they found out a way to make it, which is obviously a giant step forward for transplants and just the medical field in general. On December 18th, a homeless man from Atlanta rescued 16 cats and dogs from a fire at an animal shelter. A supermarket employee got on his bike and traveled over 3 miles, whatever the fuck that means. Sounds like a lot, to return a lost wallet. Chloe Parker, who was the girl who lost the wallet, was distracted by her 5-month-old, and in return her family raised over $25,000 to buy the guy a new car. And in the most 2020 thing I think ever, a 5-year-old live streamed themselves meditating and raised over $29,000 for Christmas toys for kids who are homeless. The little boy was really sad when he realized that not all kids get Christmas presents, and his goal was going to be $2,000, but he obviously smashed that out of the park. A food stand owner from Canada donated his kidney to a customer and offers his gourmet food for free to anyone who signs up to be a donor. And that's Scully White of Lully's Food Experience if you want to go check out his business. These tiny, tiny little possums that were feared to have gone extinct in the bushfires earlier this year were actually found on an Australian island, so that's good. Didn't know they existed before. Relieved to know they still exist now. Malaria mortalities have decreased by 60% over the past 2 decades, and that resulted in 1.5 million fewer cases happening and 7.6 million fewer deaths occurring. And in the only good news that comes out of the sentence starting with Florida man, a Florida man paid off the bills for 114 families that were at risk of having their utilities shut off, and it's the 2nd year that he's done this. And I feel like I'm in a great mood now, so I'm gonna go and get a pizza to top this off, ride this high all the way through. Thanks to all of you for supporting me throughout this year and watching my videos, liking it, disliking it, whatever it is that you do. Anyone that's ever supported my clothing brand, whether that's just liking a photo or buying something, I am extremely grateful to every single one of you. It's the only reason I can do this stuff. I hope I have a great pizza. I hope you have a great pizza, and I hope all of us have a great 2021. I will see you all next year. Had to do it.